Hello, everybody. My name is Chris, and this is We Love Comics. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you all had a very happy Thanksgiving. Um, Looking forward to Christmas and any other holidays you may celebrate. And I got a book that I bought probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago that just arrived the past day or so. And this was a comic that I bought overseas, over in Great Britain. And I thought it was a decent deal, probably about what it's worth, but I always look at things as potential. So this might be a book to check out. If you guys watch my videos, you know some of the books that I like to buy these days, so you may have a hint of what type of book it is. But if you haven't, watch many. Hopefully you will. Hit subscribe if you want to. Hit the like button. Just don't hit the person next to you, because especially if you're married, you do that. That's, first of all, spousal abuse, and you never know, they might hit back harder. So no violence. So while we're waiting for people to come in, if you want to comment on my AI art, always appreciate the comments, whether good, bad, or indifferent. Always appreciate it. If you want to be on my shout out here, if you join my Patreon at patreon.com/we love comics, does not matter how much you contribute, because I don't base it on the amount of money you put in. I put it in basically as a thank you to anybody that joins my Patreon. But a shout out to Sith, Michael B, James R, Dan L, Herbert R, Annabelle N, Jason B, and the last two. If anybody joins, and they want me to promote a social network or a YouTube channel or an eBay store or Amazon store or whatever, instead of just your name, just let me know. Peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. I have no problem with doing that. So check out Scott at Instagram, and his Instagram is ScottWU077. Also in Instagram, Silver Age Surfer _comics. So again, if you want to join, um, just go to patreon.com/we love comics. Again, no minimum to join. If we get up to 20 people, I am going to be doing a giveaway starting every month after we get to 20 paid members. So there is no minimum again to enter the contests, but you'll get one entry for every $2 that you put in. So the more you put in, the more chances you get. And probably about 90% of anybody's contributions to my Patreon help me support a bunch of stray cats, between 15 and 20 stray cats at any given day, that I feed, take to the vets, get vaccinated, get fixed so they don't reproduce, and medical bills. So it goes to a good cause. And I see a bunch of people in here. This is actually kind of nice to see. So if you look in the live chat, I'm also going to extend the deal that I did. If you're interested in ordering any of my mystery boxes, especially if you're looking to give somebody something that's for a comic book lover for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate, or just, birthday is also in December. But if you go to the link I just posted, that is my actual website. You'll see like pyramids and soaps and things like that. You will be on the right website. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see the comic book section. I do mystery boxes, and if you go to your YouTube, just go to YouTube and type in "We Love Comic Mystery Boxes," you'll see a bunch of people that have ordered from me in the past doing unboxings, so you can check out um, some of the types of comics that I give. Now, I do anything from each one has 20 comics in it. So there is a basic package for $25, all the way up to a platinum package, which is $5,000. And we have a bunch in between. I've had many people order every single type of level of packages, and everybody seems to be very happy with what they get. And as a matter of fact, if you ever read the comments on some of the people's videos, many people even say, you get more than what you pay for. And I try and do that. Now, I cannot guarantee any specific book, but if you want, for example, all DC, all Marvel, or all Image or something like that, I can do my best to accommodate that. Just let me know at the time of ordering. But the special I'm going to do until Christmas is, if you order one of my mystery boxes and you mention to me this deal, I will throw in an extra book for free. Now, if you're buying, for example, the platinum package, you're not going to get a dollar comic. I'll make sure I put something in that definitely has some value. So make sure you message me if you order that. And if you order before December 15th, I will guarantee that the comics will arrive before Christmas. Anytime after that, with UPS and post office and everything, you can never guarantee anything. But I always send everything priority mail, so it should take 2 to 3 business days. But I want to make sure if you order before the 15th, I can guarantee that it'll get there before Christmas. So again, just go to the link. It's also in the description of this or any video. And again, if you mention at the time of ordering, you can even email me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com that you'd like the bonus comic with your order. Um, for every order that you place, you'll get a free comic. So it's not like if you order 4 different packages, you only get one book. If you order 4 different packages, you'll get 4 free comics. And it will be better as the level goes up. So keep that in mind. All right, let's put on the video camera. So I'm going to do actually, geez, my beard is always a mess. I'm going to do a bonus one at the end. You may not have been able to see it on the title because sometimes the titles are too long. But I'm going to do my birthday unboxing. My wife gave me, my birthday was November 9th, but it took a little while to get the book. I'll do that one second of books that she gave me among other things, a gift certificate for eBay. So the books that I'll show in that were cost me zero. So very happy to get this. But I want to show this. This is a book. Now, it's not like a holy grail book or anything, but I would consider this a minor key. But this came from Great Britain. This is the package that they sent it in. How this didn't get ripped to shreds or crushed is beyond me. But this is literally the thinnest package I've ever received for a comic book. So we'll see what happens. But it looks like there's no damage, knock on wood. But as usual, unlike many comic book channels, not only will I tell you what the book is, but I will tell you the price I paid for it, which always includes taxes, shipping and handling, yada, yada, yada. But I think this book is an undervalued book. Again, it's a minor key book, so it's not anything people would probably be buying up like crazy. Now, they were nice enough to put it in a Ziploc bag. Let's hope there's a bag and board, which there is. Okay. So, that's their idea of protection, because I always ask, and I recommend to people all the time, make sure you message a seller and ask them if they could put extra protection. Now, as you can see, it doesn't always work, because I guess this is what the person thought was extra protection. I guess if you were going to have adult relations and you put this over something, that kind of protection might work. But 9 out of 10 times, if you mention it to a seller, they will accommodate. Don't assume that everybody knows or cares about packaging comics well. They don't care once they got their money. Now, of course, that's not everybody, but still, better to be safe than sorry. But again, it doesn't always work. All right, so here is the book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 149. So it did come in um, perfect condition. This is a high grade, but by high grade, I would say probably an 8.5 to 9.2 range. There is a little bit of a rounding of the corner, which is perfectly fine. But if you guys know me, what kind of version of this book do you think it is? You could put it in the comments section if you're watching this later, or if you're watching it live, you can put in the live chat of what version of this book do you think this is? I'll give you a second. And then you can also put, imagine Chris is a mall Santa. Well, I got the beard for it. I don't know if I got the weight for it. But then again, you could just put stuffing. So this looks really nice. And I've never seen this version of this before. So, Drunk got it right. It is a Mark Julius variant. Now, I've seen some in purple. I've seen some in red. I've seen some in yellow. I've never seen this color pattern before. So this one's really nice, and it's in great condition. As you can see, no coupon cut out. It does have like off-white to white pages. I always check the first page because you never know. Sometimes old school books have a signature on the bottom. You might want to excuse me, might want to check your old books just to make sure. So overall, this looks pretty good. So this is the first appearance of the Spider-Man clone, Bill, I think it's Bill Riley. So who knows if they'll ever utilize that character? And like I said, this is like a B or maybe C level key book. I would say a C level key book at this point, but you never know. I mean, this is number 149, 25 cents. So this probably came out around 76, 77. If anybody knows the exact date, let me know. But I think around 25 cents, it would be between 75 and 77 in that range. But I thought, this book, especially for a Mark Jewelers, is not a very high print run of this book. So if you can find this book in a Mark Jewelers, I would highly recommend grabbing this because remember, on average, the Mark Jewelers variants average about 5% of a total print run. So, especially in a book that you're talking the mid 70s. And again, I mean, look at the vibrant colors on this book. I would say it's easily in between an 8.5 and a 9.2 with a pressing, because there is one or two minor little, I saw dents that do not break color. But for a book from 1975 to 1977-ish, I think that's in really good condition. Now, somebody says, MVP Comics says stamps. So you're talking about Marvel Value Stamp? We'll see if it has that in this book, because that would be important. So we'll go through the whole thing. All right, so no coupon cut out. There is a little tiny tear right there, but it's not any other pages, just right there. I guess the person who owned it decided he was hungry and wanted to nibble it. So let's see. So we'll check it. I don't see anything that has a Marvel value, but it's good to go through the whole book anyway. I see all the coupons are intact. I don't think this one will have a, yeah, I don't think this has a Marvel value stamp in it because I would have reached it by now and there's no cutouts. But we'll go through the whole thing just to make sure. All the pages are crisp. Not one coupon is cut out or ripped into. Yeah, so this one does not have a Marvel value stamp. Not that it's cut out or anything. I'm talking about this book doesn't have a Marvel value stamp in it. But always good to check just to make sure. But how much would you have paid for this book? Now, before you just say a price, look it up on eBay. Because I know everybody would say I'd pay $10 for this book or $20 for this book. And that'd be nice, but for a Mark Jewelers variant, you're not even going to get a low grade version of this book for that price. So I would check before you say a price, but with shipping and handling and taxes, let me know what you would have paid for this book. So again, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 149. This is around 1975 to 1977. It is a Mark Jewelers variant. It is higher grade. And again, I said between like an 8.5 and a 9.2. What would you have paid for this? Oh, okay. So they said 1975. So there you go. I was pretty much on the money because you can usually tell just based on the price. Because I know early, like 1970 was around the 20 cent mark, and that'll last a couple of years. So there we go. So good job with that, Harrier Man 99. Junk Drunk says, what's your opinion on the 30 years comics? Won't be worth much since the youth today are not interested in comics, but stuff like Pokemon cards. Well, just because people say that people are not interested doesn't mean that's the case. Be very careful who you listen to. Um, do you really think anybody that made that statement has interviewed every single young person in the world? And again, even if that's the case, that would make it easier to acquire and then eventually it'll turn around and people will want them again. There is no way that all of a sudden people are just going to say, oh, I don't want to get into these. I mean, if people keep vouching for people that do the wrong thing in the comic book community. I can see people getting burnt out, but that would just mean they'll not go on the internet anymore, or they won't follow YouTube channels and just buy these comics, you know, on their own without having to announce it on a social network. So I don't believe in that kind of stuff. To say that all of a sudden a complete entire generation of people will all at once decide for themselves, oh, we're not going to collect comics anymore. I mean, my generation, when I was a kid, I used to buy the Garbage Pail Kids. I had packs and packs of those Garbage Pail Kids. Threw them all out at one point because I never thought they would ever amount to anything in value, and I'm sure many people thought the same thing. But now look how valuable some of those are, and probably because people threw them out. So if there is even a generation where things slow down, I mean, it's just going to make the others, especially the key issue books, harder and harder to get, which is going to make them more and more expensive. I see so many people on YouTube in the comic book community, because it's not really a community, it's a bunch of like, little groups of people. It is what it is. If they want to call themselves a community, that's wonderful, but they don't know what the definition is, because community all works together. You don't see that in the comic book community. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are so desperate to get high numbers of views that they'll put clickbait titles, they'll put um, over the top things that they talk about. They will make opinions of the comic book crash. I've been hearing people since I've been on YouTube in the comic book community since the end of 2016. I have heard countless people saying, "Oh, comic book movie fatigue and the comic book crash is coming." There will always be the doomsday people. Why? Because it gets people to panic and watch their videos, which ultimately gives them more viewers and higher revenue. If you want to believe in the doom and gloomers who are always going to say tomorrow is World War III and everybody's going to die and everything you invest in is going to go to zero. I mean, come on, because remember, there were people when the prices were too high. Remember in 20 to 22, when the prices of comics were so high, how many people were saying, oh, people are spending too much money and now I can't get the comic books I love because, they're people, those rotten speculators are pricing out the market and I can't get the books I love. And now that the prices are going down, people are like, oh, well, look, I lost all of my investments and I'm going to go broke and oh, blah, blah, blah. There's always somebody who's going to complain. So my thing is, hook your horse to whatever wagon you want. If you want to believe what somebody's opinion is, and remember, it's just an opinion. But just because somebody is popular on YouTube or has a lot of views or a lot of subscribers does not mean they're right. So keep that in mind. So one person said they would pay $50 for this. I'll tell you right now, Comic Mike, if you looked up the price of this book, you would never find it for $50. But I can understand who wouldn't want to pay $50 for this book. I paid with shipping and handling. And remember, I bought it overseas, so it's a higher shipping and handling. And with eBay taxes, I paid $112 for this book. If you look at the price of this, especially in higher grades, for a Mark Jewelers variant, they go for about $125 to around $200. Of course, a 9.6 or 9.8 is going to be a lot more. But I mean, if you could find that book at a Mark Jewelers, at least an 8.5 and up for $50, pounce on it because somebody didn't know what they were selling. So, Comic Mike, I don't know if you actually looked up on eBay what these go for, and you just picked a price that you would pay. Which means if you're saying you'd spend no more than $50, that means you bought it for probably about 30, and then after eBay taxes and shipping, it would come out to 50. You're not finding that. Maybe a 1.0 version of that book, you could probably get that for. But again, when you're talking 1975, newsstand Mark Jewelers variant in high grade, these are not common. And how many of them have been lost or damaged over the years? So, you know, everybody can decide what price they want to pay. But it's also, remember, I mean, who wouldn't want to buy a 2024 Ferrari for $100? I sure would. Good luck finding a Ferrari steering wheel for $100 or the Ferrari logo for $100. So there's a difference between what I would love to pay and the reality of what you're probably going to pay. Now, of course, if you go to, for example, a yard sale or a comic book store, sometimes you can find stuff like this, open it up and see, you might have a Mark Julis variant, because I can tell you, even comic book stores, they're not going to go through every single comic they have in their inventory. I mean, a comic book store is going to literally have tens of thousands of comic books. Do you really think they're going to inspect every single comic that they put out there? And again, if this was like, for example, Hulk 181, they're definitely going through it. But a book like this, they might just say, all right, Amazing Spider-Man 149, put it in the regular Amazing Spider-Man section. And that's why it pays the check, and you could get a deal. Yeah. So at least Comic Mike, I'll give you the respect. You said no, you didn't. So you didn't check on eBay, you just guessed. This is something you want to be very careful about, because this is one of the things I stress to people that are buying comic books for speculation or investment purposes. You got to know the value of books. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on an opportunity. Because if you assume this book is worth about $50 and you see it for 100 and you pass it up, you don't realize you're actually getting a decent deal on the book. So the more knowledge and the less guessing, the better chances of you succeeding. And that's why, again, so many different comic book channels, they make assumptions, they go based on their feelings, and we've seen how that worked in the last political um, situation. We'll just leave it at that, where there were people with facts and there were people with feelings. Well, which one ultimately worked out in the long run? So if you're buying a book because you like the cover or you want to read it, that's perfectly fine. Then you don't care about this stuff. But the majority of people that, at least I believe, that come to my channel get books because of their potential investment purposes. So don't speculate. I mean, you could speculate, but don't make assumptions on value. Make sure you know. And that's why when I tell people, before they put a price of what they would pay for it, go look at what's been sold or what's for sale. Because again, who wouldn't want a Ferrari for $100? You're not getting one. So it's never to try and put anybody down or insult them. It's to get people used to the fact that if you are going to invest, you should know what you're investing in. And especially if there are books like this one that was a buy it now, I knew the value of it. I looked it up. I didn't just assume. And when I saw I could get this below what the current value is for the book, I pounced on it. And again, because this character hasn't had a movie or a TV show, you never know. Now, the chances of the clone ever coming into the MCU, who knows? But still, it has some relevance. It's not just a generic Spider-Man issue that somebody's just filling a run with. And the fact that it's a Mark Jewelers gives it that much more desirability. And that's why I have bought, like before this year, I owned one Mark Jewelers variant, and I wasn't even trying to buy it. Just happened to be a comic I bought, ended up being a Mark Jewelers variant. Actually, no, I had two of them. I sold one. And that's been back into collecting comics since 2016. This year alone, I probably have 60 Mark Jewelers variants because I see the potential of these. Now, of course, also the National Diamond inserts are, again, if they're key books, a little bit potentially rare and have value as well, but they're not as known as the Mark Jewelers. But again, if you could find those, it's pretty much the same thing, just a different advertising company. If you can find them and you can get great deals, pick them up. But I see the potential in these, because how many people say, oh, you shouldn't get a book because, it's got so many prints in the print run. Well, Mark Jewelers, again, is on average about 5% of a total print run. And then the older the book is, the less chance many of them survived, and especially survived in higher grade. I mean, like I've given examples. New Mutants 98. If you have just the generic New Mutants 98 that you bought at the comic book store, and you graded it as, let's just say CGC, because everybody says CGC has the number one potential selling value. That's arguable these days, but to each their own. You would probably be able to sell a New Mutants 98 that you bought from a comic book store, got graded, and came back a CGC 9.8 with white pages, probably for, let's just say, around $1,250 to $1,300. Now, if you bought your New Mutants 98 from, let's say, for example, 7-Eleven, and you have a newsstand version, and you graded it a CGC 9.8 with white pages, you would probably be able to sell that for about 2,500 to 4,000 in that range, because it depends on when you're selling the book. So it's a bigger range. Okay. Now, if you got a Mark Jewelers variant of New Mutants 98 graded at a 9.8, you could sell that between 9 and 12,000. So the differences between books can be ridiculously higher, especially when you're talking the highest grades. So please be careful who you hitch your horses to which wagon. Make sure you listen to people, but don't take them as gospel just because you like the person, or they do fancy videos, or they do videos all the time, or they're very controversial. Remember, a lot of them have an incentive to make money. I will do the same videos whether I have one viewer or I have 1,000 viewers. My average videos now are about 150 to 350 views. So I'm not doing it to get people to watch. I mean, if they do, great. Even when I first started my first channel, I never understood why my channel got popular at all when it did. Because I just thought I was doing nothing different than anybody else. I was just showing comics, but people gravitated to it. I am honest with people. I don't need clickbait. Like I didn't do the world's thinnest, the thinnest overseas, box I've ever gotten, and then lie to you. I mean, is that not the thinnest you can get for a comic book? Especially one that was sent from Great Britain. So I don't do clickbait, and I don't do the, oh my God, the comic book community is going to collapse. I mean, even if there's a collapse, remember, that's a buying opportunity. You think it's going to stay collapsed? Value of things that have retained value, if they all of a sudden start losing value, it panics some people. The ones that don't know how to invest and base everything on emotion will panic sell. Then it gets to a certain level where smart people will say, that's a bargain. That's on sale. I'm going to buy it now because I don't think it's going to go to zero. If you have something like a Bitcoin, I doubt it these days, but it could potentially go to zero. A stock can definitely go to zero, but an investment like a comic book will never go to zero. And I'm talking about comics like, for example, like Avengers #1, Tales of Suspense 39, things like that. The ones that have value already. They're never going to zero. But you can have fluctuations. When the market is high, that's when you sell. When the market is low, that's a buying opportunity. It's not a crash to panic on unless you followed all of those people to say, buy now, buy now, buy now, and we're buying at the highest point, and now the prices have gone down and you have no room to go anywhere. Again, be careful who you hitch your horses to. But always remember, even if the price goes down, what goes down will eventually go back up. So it may take a couple of years, but if you panic sell, now you're SOL. So, as they say, to each their own. So let's do the other unboxing. I don't do videos where I, do a birthday for say thing. I'm not that person anymore. But my wife got me an eBay gift certificate as one of my birthday presents back in November. It was November 9th. And I got this recently, and I just wanted to open it in case she's watching to show what I put the money into. And I just thought that was really nice. My wife doesn't know what to get me, and she's not going to buy me a comic book because she wouldn't know what to get. And obviously, if she asked about it, then I would know why she's doing it because she's never in our 12 years of being together, she's never asked me one question on her own about comic books. But she gave me the gift certificate as part of my birthday present. And I saw this for a pretty decent price, but I paid a grand total of $0. So for me, it was worth it. Now, this person, I did make sure I asked them if they could ship it with protection, and this person listened. So I always appreciate those that do that. And again, never assume that a seller knows or cares about how to ship comics. So they actually put a couple pieces of cardboard and they actually put this on each side, little foam stoppers so it didn't slide around. There's another one right there. So they tape these all together. So there's a couple of comics in here. And I bought it mainly for two of them. So the others are basically throw-ins. But it looks like there might be more comics than. Let me see how many of them there's supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's 9. Okay. So that's exactly what it was supposed to be. So these are all Spawn books. They're all early Spawn books. But I'll show you why I got it for the two. And again, paid $0. So I don't know if any of these have any significance as far as the later ones. Anybody that's a Spawn fan that collects Spawn books, let me know. But the first one is issue 21. I stopped collecting these around issue 14 or 15 when I was a kid. So I have like the first 15 issues. It's either 14 or 15. So I definitely do not have the last two. So I never had this one. Issue 21. Really like this cover. Never saw this one because, like I said, I stopped around 15. This is issue number 18. Give McFarlane credit. He definitely went crazy with his artistry. This one is like probably the most basic one. Issue number 12. I remember getting this one as a kid. I got that one as a kid too. Issue 10 with Cerebus the Aardvark for a Spawn crossover. This one's pretty significant, but not why I bought it. Issue number 9, first appearance of Angela, which is now a Marvel-owned property. Then issue number 7. Issue number 2. And the reason that I bought this, now, well, I'll tell you the price afterwards. I can ask what you would have paid for it. MVP Comics says, I have to check my New Mutants 98. Hope there's a Mark Jewelers. Absolutely check. And if you did, you've just dramatically increased the value of your book. All right. But here, and if you do find it, let me know. Now you'll think, what's the big deal? You know, Spawn number 4, I don't think has any significance, but this one is a newsstand variant. Very rare. Now, not 10 comics rare, but especially in higher grade, and especially a book that has a lot of black to it. I don't see, I think there's one color breaking tick, which means it would get at least a 9.6. I thought that was color rub, but that's actually on the bag. So a newsstand variant of this book is pretty rare. And then Spawn number 1, but again, newsstand variant. Now again, it's a rare version, but not 10 comics rare. But again, this is super high grade. This has potential. I mean, obviously, I'd have to go through the whole thing, but this has potential of a 9.8. This book in a newsstand, 9.8, even a 9.6, definitely has some value. So the two main reasons I got this was issue 1 and issue 4, newsstands, but also to a lesser extent, I mean, this wouldn't have made or broke it, but issue number 9, the rest are basically throwaways. So let me ask you again, and you can look again, I suggest recommending looking these up. This Spawn number 4 is probably a 9.6, between a 9.4 and a 9.6. And the Spawn number 1, again, both newsstand variants. This looks like 9.6 to 9.8, so potential 9.8. But let's assume it's a 9.6. What would you have paid for this entire set of 13 books, which included the first Angela? I'm not sure if any of the other books have any significance, and if anybody wants to mention it, if they know about it, you can let me know. But again, issue 4 and issue 1, high grade newsstand variants. What would you have paid for these books? Again, put it in the live chat if you're live, or you can put it in the comment section if you upload it later on. So I'll give you a minute. Again, look these up. But to me, especially the newsstands, um, not easy to acquire. Now, Spawn number 1 is not rare, but the newsstands are definitely a lot less printed, especially in high grade, in a newsstand. Now, they don't have Mark Julis variants for that book, but if they did, that would probably shoot it through the moon. But again, 9.6 to 9.8 potential. So if you want to put the price that you would have paid, again, with shipping and handling and eBay taxes, put it either in the live chat or put it in the comment section. I won this for $50. It was a buy it now best offer. They had it, for some reason, they had it $96.66. I offered them an offer of $50 and they accepted it. So with shipping and handling and taxes, I paid $66.66. And part of the gift certificate that my wife gave me, I applied to this purchase. So it cost me $0. So regardless of what these are worth, I'll do pretty decent on them. And even if I didn't have the gift certificate, to spend $66.66, which averages out to, well, let's see. Let's get the calculator. I'll tell you exactly instead of assuming. Okay, so $66.66 divided by 13 total is $5.12 each. So I paid $5.12 for these books. Go look up what a newsstand number Spawn 1 and a 9.8. Now, of course, I can't guarantee it's a 9.8, but it has the potential. And to me, that's what matters the most. So those are the books. So I would love to hear your opinion of these. Would you have bought these books? Do you think I'm crazy about anything I say? Or you think I'm spot on? Or, I'm in the right direction? I'd love to hear your comments. I'm about to do the surprise subscriber shout out. You don't have to be a subscriber unless you want to subscribe. All you have to do is leave a comment in the live chat and I'll pick somebody. I always pick 2 people to be the surprise subscriber shout outs. But before I do that, quick again, shout out to my Patreon members. If you want your name up there and get a shout out every video I do, go to patreon.com/WeLoveComics. And if I get to 20 paid members, I'll be doing some giveaways. And remember, there is no minimum to enter or to get your name up on that list that you saw. The minimum to join anybody's Patreon is $2 a month. But again, for the contests, once we get to 20 paid members, you'll get 1 entry for every $2 you put in. So let's do today's surprise subscriber shout outs. We're going to go with MVP Comics is 1. And we're going to go with Comic Mike as the surprise subscriber shout out number 2. So the way it works is with the surprise subscriber shout outs, if your name was called, once this video uploads, you can place in the comment section a link to either your YouTube channel if you have one, a social network if you prefer to do that instead, Or if you have an eBay store or any place like on Amazon or anything where you sell items, you want to do a link to that instead, you can. It does not have to be comic book related, but that will do the best for this, especially this channel. Um, just not anything that's adult oriented. I'm not going to do any kind of help for a prank channel or somebody that's spamming like foreign sites or some Bitcoin ripoff to try and screw people over. So if you put that, I'm just going to delete it. Now, keep in mind if you have a it's going to go directly to spam at first if you post a website, because I'm going to verify it. If I verify it and it takes somebody that's where it says it's going to, I will approve it. So if you see a link, it means it's been approved. Go check them out. Go support them because that's what a real community is all about. And one thing I would recommend: don't just place a link. Post the link, but say, "Hi, I am such and such, and the link is to such and such. I'd love for you to visit or check out my items for sale or check out my Facebook page, yada." Like, if you just post a link, the chances are probably 99.9% of the time no one's ever going to click it. And I don't get a lot of viewers as it is. But I try and do what I can for the community. And if you appreciate it, you can give that a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'll leave that up to you. And let's give our shout outs a shout out. And I hope that you will take the time once this video uploads to come and leave a comment because I don't get many comments these days, but I do read them and I do respond. So thank you to everybody that participated. For me to get 12 people watching, that's a lot these days. Very much appreciated. So again, if you're interested in any of my mystery boxes, if you order any of mystery boxes before Christmas, and you ask for the special once you order, you can, if you forget on the order form, you can message me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and say you'd like the extra comic to your added to the packages that you buy. Again, I'll throw in a comic for every package that you buy up until right before Christmas. And again, if you order it before approximately December 14th or December 15th, I can guarantee it's going to get there before Christmas. So if you're thinking of getting this for somebody as a Christmas present, I always send things priority mail. Getting closer to the 24th, I can't guarantee it, but I will do my best sending it out as soon as payments are made, then that or the next business day. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to see you subscribe and check out some of my other videos. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great day. And don't forget, it's not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.